on her main channel to this day. The rest of the family, meanwhile, was up to main channel unless there was enough of a backing behind her to sue the trolls and get her name back. It's not clear whether anyone actually donated, but the lawsuit was never mentioned again, and a month later, she bought a new iPhone 13. Keep in mind, at this point, she was stuck in a motel, and her family could not pay rent. And I guess in the end, she didn't need the lawyers that bad, as she's still active on her main channel to this day. The rest of the family, meanwhile, was up to their own shenanigans, with Papa Chew getting arrested on the 28th of April, then getting arrested again in September for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and then again in November for aggravated robbery. But interestingly, he wasn't the only one facing some legal trouble. Enter Brother Chew, real name Donald Jr. At first glance, you may think that he's the most normal out of the Slidell family, but he's nonetheless just as much of a lunatic as everyone else. Unlike his parents and sibling, he doesn't have much social media presence, and he's only really been known for occasionally appearing on Tofia's streams, often half naked. One of his more notable appearances was when he threatened to trace trolls' IP addresses and give them a violent end.
So if you want to continue talking your shit, run your mouth, everybody, go ahead. Don't think I'm going to find out where you live. Don't think I'm not going to find out.
Still, despite having some anger issues, clearly, he mostly kept himself out of trouble, but all of that was about to change. First, a little background. So, sometime in 2022, Brother Chew and his girlfriend, Angie, broke up, and it wasn't a very clean separation. The two parties became incredibly hostile, although most of that was kept under wraps. Then, in January 2023, Angie started live streaming on TikTok, where she exposed several personal DMs showing just how dysfunctional things had gotten. In one of the DMs, he all but admitted to being verbally abusive, though he didn't respond when she asked him about when he had supposedly shoved her to the ground. In another, they talked about how he'd apparently faked a suicide attempt, although he denied that. As Angie was streaming, Brother Chew was in the chat repeatedly trying to dox her current address, and even Mama Chew showed up to talk about what was happening. At some point after this, Angie came in while live streaming, as she tried to get back some of the stuff she'd left at the house, including her dog. This was likely sometime before the family had been evicted. Brother Chew responded by saying he had thrown all of her stuff in the trash already, but she didn't really get much out of it, not even being able to get her dog. In the same stream, she also alleged that he had a pocket knife that he was going to use on his neighbor.
He has a knife right now, guys. He has a pocket knife he was going to use on his neighbor.
For a while after this, there was radio silence on the whole thing. The two of them were filing restraining orders against each other, although they kept getting violated. Mutually, I might add. You can't stop love. But then, sometime in November, Angie came to TikTok again, accusing Brother Chew of being abusive. She went full scorched earth against the entire Slidell family, accusing Tofia of, among other things, supposedly, pleasing herself in front of her own mother, and all kinds of other weird, degenerate shit. Now obviously Tofia took this quite personally, as did Mama Chew. When the news about her brother initially dropped, she denied it wholesale. Well, kind of. They admitted that there was violence going on, but that it was mutual.
He may have hit Angie like he said he did, but he said she hit him too.
I don't want to have it. Don't discuss that.
She hit him too, she said.
Don't discuss anything that has to do with that.
This launched into a massive back and forth that frankly is kind of difficult to follow. The Slidell family was accused of refusing to return Angie's car, and Tofia herself went as far as to dox Angie for all the trouble she had supposedly caused them. Now the car thing may or may not be true, as Brother Chew had the car since at least September, and Angie hadn't reported it stolen or anything like that. More notably, Brother Chew had no issue putting it up for sale, which would seem unwise if the vehicle was truly stolen. Then again, no one in this family has shown themselves to be particularly forward-thinking, so who knows. In retaliation, Angie started live streaming regularly to spread the message of how terrible this family really is. She threatened to sue the Slidells over the car situation, and she ragged on Tofia for her awful hygiene, recalling a story when Angie's dad came to pick up Tofia and Marie while they were all walking somewhere. As soon as Tofia left the car, her dad was hit by a foul smell. This supposed smell is a big part of the lore. For example, in another video, Angie gave a very vivid image of Tofia's body odor.
Tofia smells like BO and piss.
The shit-flinging would go on, leading to Brother Chew leaking Angie's sex tape, which he saw as proof of cheating. While I couldn't find it myself, the claim was that she appeared to be getting assaulted, but Tofia didn't see it that way. When she saw it, she claimed that Angie was clearly enjoying herself, meaning that all this video was proof of cheating. During the same stream, she accused Angie of being a very different person from how she had presented herself, claiming that she had threatened to harm herself whenever Brother Chew tried to leave her, which supposedly led to Brother Chu getting a restraining order. It seems Angie was in the chat at the same time, saying things that were upsetting Tofia, who then told Angie she needs to get off. This battle didn't end there, as Tofia followed it up by leaking some very private medical history, including the fact that Angie had supposedly had a miscarriage prior to meeting Brother Chu. At a point, the drama started to devolve into meaningless drivel. It dragged on for months on end, with the two parties being pretty horrible to each other. Eventually, Brother Chu broke the silence, where he explained the situation from his perspective.
She's always wondering who I'm talking to, whether I have a girlfriend or not, and she's always trying to see what's on my phone. Still acting like controlling, like we're in a freaking relationship, trying to always wonder what the hell I'm doing and who the hell I'm talking to.
He'd known her for around 7 years, and he claims she's always been kind of weird. According to him, she was dating a guy in his 40s despite being only 27 at the time, and he also claims that he was abusive towards her, but clarifies that the abuse was mutual, meaning they both were just acting horrific towards each other. Sometime after this, things devolved even further. For some reason, Angie decided to move to the same motel they were staying at, all but guaranteeing that there would be more drama. Lo and behold, Angie was arguing with a roommate. Brother Chu pulled a gun on them. He then must have left, attempting to talk to Angie through the door.
I'm trying to talk to you.
Okay, you're over here yelling about a gun, dude. I'm not doing it.
So fine, don't talk to me. Don't fucking talk to me. I'm just going to take the gun.
Just because you're not getting your pay.
You don't want to fucking talk. You just keep every single one of your fucking problem. This is not my problem, my situation. I should have been in.
Okay, you don't have to come at me like that.
Based on their conversation, he had been waving a gun around, quite possibly at Angie's current boyfriend. But honestly, with how much context we're missing here, it's a little difficult to follow. Tofia would defend her brother by saying it was just a BB gun and that he didn't mean to harm anyone. It didn't exactly look good either way, even with that added detail. 2 days later, Brother Chu and Angie ran into each other again, and he threatened to call the cops on her. Of course, since he's a brain-dead idiot, he also doxed the motel address and his room number by saying it out loud, which backfired immediately. Tofia was on a live stream blaming Angie for the address leak. But luckily, Angie left the motel on the same day Tofia and company took the opportunity to barge into the now unoccupied room, where they uncovered that she's quite messy in her own right. The motel room floor and bed were covered in cat shit, which Tofia deliberately pointed out every time she spotted it. She also doxed Angie's room number in the process, although at this point, that didn't really matter. Sometime later in April, Angie fired up a stream close to the motel, and she claimed that her ex-boyfriend had stolen her dog and sold it for $200. That's about all there is to this stream. The rest is just babbling. Now in May, for the first time since the whole drama started, Brother Chu finally came back with some of his own receipts, sharing a conversation between them where Angie admitted to being charged with domestic violence. He also exposes her for assaulting other people, including some random guy who ended up beating her up, which Brother Chu also showed. Notably, he claims that she was fired from her teaching job because of being inappropriate with children, but he doesn't provide any proof of that, so the jury's out on whether or not that's even close to reality. This specific drama mostly ends here, and honestly, it's hard to root for either party. If you peruse through Tofia's early Facebook days, she comes across as a bit of an animal lover, posting pictures of her dogs that had passed away. They eventually got a pet chihuahua named Hershey, and when Tofia's streaming career kicked off, it was very clear to everyone in the audience that they couldn't take care of her. From the get-go, TikTok was swamped with Tofia and pretty much the whole family mistreating Hershey, who, being untrained and in constant distress, was openly very aggressive towards the family members, but to Tofia especially. She constantly barked and growled in her presence, to which Tofia never really had much to say. Back when they still rented an apartment, she couldn't even be bothered to take her dog outside to piss, instead just laying out a bunch of pee pads, which were just layered over each other in the apartment. When fans called her out on it, she never really responded. Not that she really cared if the dog peed on the carpet, as the worst she'd do is get annoyed and not even clean it up. But worst of all, she was also physically abusive towards the animal. Of course, this is Tofia, and any attempts from her fans to make her fix her behavior fell on deaf ears. After the family was evicted, Hershey moved in with them, and most of the dog abuse clips hovering around the internet came from their stay at the motel. But Tofia really believed that she was a good pet owner, so she decided to foster another animal, this time a cat. This is despite the fact that she had no means of taking care of it, as she had to feed the cat dog food, which is very unhealthy for cats. At one point, the poor creature was so starved of nutrients that it jumped up on Tofia's table to steal her bacon.
No, you're not gonna
Get her now.
She stole my bacon. She's holding the baby.
When the cat wasn't busy starving to death, it was constantly agitated, attacking Tofia whenever she tried to get close. In her infinite wisdom, Tofia blamed the aggression on the fact that the cat had recently been neutered. Keep in mind, Tofia had zero issues throwing the cat around without a care in the world. People began reporting her to Albuquerque Animal Welfare for her very obvious animal abuse, asking how the agency could permit Tofia to foster an animal in the first place. The Animal Welfare social media account had something very interesting to say. Apparently, Tofia had never actually been entered into the foster program, meaning her claim of fostering the cat was false. It's not clear whether Tofia found out about this or not, but just a few days later, she reported that the cat had been rehomed. And that left Hershey, who somehow held out in that house of horrors until now. Sometime in February of 2024, Tofia came online with some devastating news. Hershey was missing. She claimed a couple was walking by their motel room with a big black dog.
Good morning.
The motel room
Hope you're
door
doing
was
well.
cracked open. Suddenly, the couple lost control of the animal, which sprinted towards the door and busted through. Hershey then apparently tore herself free from her leash and ran
We're gonna be
away.
playing
In
some more
tears,
Disco
Tofia
Elysium this
announced
morning.
that she was gone. But there are some issues with this story. For one, she
Right
left
now
the
we're
door
listening
cracked open
to
despite claiming in the same
more
video
of
that
this
wolves were
video
in the
from
area.
Turkey Tom
This is
about
a shady motel
Tofia Chu.
establishment, where leaving your door unlocked is an open invitation to get robbed or trafficked. She also chose not to put up flyers indicating that the dog was missing and asking for anyone who had seen the dog to let her know, and did nothing to try and find Hershey for one entire week. The stream where she broke the news happened over a week after Hershey went missing, and up until then, the only people looking for the dog were animal control. Worst of all, perhaps, is that she supposedly didn't even chase after Hershey until she had put on more clothes.
I didn't have anything on because I had, well, I did, but I mean my pajama shirt, whatever. I had, and so I had to hurry up rushing get dressed to go chase after my dog that ran.
The whole story left a sour taste in people's mouths. The Tofia Chu TikTok subreddit distrusted her version of the story.
What a fucking
scorning
cunt.
her for complete disinterest in finding the dog.
Animal
Even
abuse
after
is so
revealing the sad
fucked.
news, she did nothing to try and find Hershey at all. In fact, she completely stopped talking about the topic across all of her social media. When another person made a post asking for people to help find Hershey, Tofia sent people to report their account, claiming she was pretending to be the owner. In the same breath, she made posts like this
Wow.
about how losing a pet can be as painful as losing another loved one. But somehow, it gets worse. Sometime after Hershey went missing, Tofia's family somehow got a new dog, a pit bull puppy, which she admitted to in some person's DMs on the 26th of February. That was 2 days before she actually announced Hershey was missing. Mind you, she didn't actually say that they were adopting it, merely said they were taking care of it until the owner would take the dog back or something.
Of course,
But here's
why
where
not?
things get really weird. About 2 weeks after she originally broke the story, she posted about it on Facebook, but the details were inconsistent. This time, she said that her mother was outside with Hershey to use the restroom. There was no mention of the door being cracked open prior, and she said she had to open it to let Hershey in. While some of these inconsistencies could maybe be chalked up to a bad memory, it also created other issues. With the extra
Yeah,
detail,
but, like, what-
the story
how are
just
you-
made less sense in general. Tofia was
Yeah,
the one at the door,
whatever.
and she had enough time to let both Hershey and her mother in. Considering that Hershey is a dog, she would have entered the doorway faster than Mama Chu. So if the black dog was chasing Hershey, they should have no trouble outrunning Marie, who's elderly and in poor physical health. The black dog also supposedly threw Marie down, even though Tofia was the first person the pit bull would have to run through if Marie was already inside. And so with all of these inconsistencies, people on Reddit questioned if the story was even slightly real. People had been searching for Hershey for weeks, but as false positives started piling up, the prevailing belief was that Tofia had likely done something to the dog, and that she wasn't willing to admit to whatever it was. Whether that's true or not, we may never know. She doesn't talk about Hershey very much anymore. Sadly, it's likely that she's been dead for a while, especially if her claims of wolves being in the area are true. As for the pit bull, they definitely had the
Wolves?
dog in May, but I haven't seen
LOL,
any proof that
sure.
they still have it. In the end, she had other concerns, like hentai. Around August, she was caught liking hentai again, except it got a little bit weirder than last time. While most of it was gay stuff, as you'd expect,
Hello,
she also
Echo
enjoyed
Pineapple.
some weirder stuff,
Good
including
morning,
a
how
graphic
are you?
story about
Well,
a
it's afternoon for
17-year-old
you.
student getting it on
Almost
with a lawyer.
evening.
On that note,
You know what I mean,
however,
though.
she also got involved in something much worse. The details of this story are quite vague. From what I could figure out, Tofia said that she was in possession of some potential CSAM material, which she said was also evidence of some other random guy, whom she did not name, being irresponsible with kids.
I was there when she said to look up CP. I know she's not talking about. Like, I know I have CP.
Pretty good.
This backfired on her massively, and she came on stream the next day and explained that the PDF file was actually
Gonna
from a
continue
Discord server,
playing
which
Disco
she'd
Elysium
already
here in
reported
just a
to the
moment.
police. She speaks about it on multiple occasions, but I genuinely have no clue what the hell she's saying. In response to an Instagram rant, some Redditors were able to figure out that she may have been trying to say that she has a screenshot of someone else saying that they possess CSAN material. Honestly though, it's incredibly hard to say, and the way she felt
I don't know
the
what
need to say that
CSAN
she's
material is,
totally
but
not a
I'd
PDF
rather
file
not.
herself made a lot of people suspect that something was going on.
So I don't know why you're talking about me being a predator. I didn't say I was hesitant. I just literally said I've literally provided proof.
In the end, this issue was closed without much of a good resolution. The Tofiachu TikTok subreddit, one of the largest anti-Tofia communities, closed the issue and urged people to come up with actual proof if there was any. Tofia wasn't impacted too badly by this.
I was gonna make a
but at
bad
the same
joke,
time,
but I
she
won't.
also had much bigger
Yeah, fair
concerns.
enough.
She claimed that her family
It's easy to make
was
fun
so
of people
broke
like
that
this.
they could no longer afford to eat. Mamachu was quick to dispel this claim, saying that they were eating just fine.
We can't buy stuff for lunches. We can only buy for our dinners. These that we don't have.
And sometimes, yeah, we can't afford to buy stuff for lunches. But I make whatever's in there for lunch. I
She
do.
can eat lunch because she can't. We all can't eat lunch. There's not
Yeah,
enough for
I
two of
make.
us.
Don't continue.
I am gonna continue because you eat that, then you don't have dinner.
Well, okay, well, then you know what? I won't defend you then.
Well, then don't. I'm not gonna have you come
That's
out.
what I was doing.
No, you wasn't.
I
You're
just
still
did.
making it worse.
Yeah, that's what I assumed, and
You're telling them that I'm not grateful for what the food that I have. Now you're being stupid.
I won't report you, but I really will avoid talking to you if you do.
Arguing with her mother that she was making everything worse by telling the truth. Since lying about food didn't work, she went for other money-making avenues. She leaned heavier into creating merch with some.
Yeah, I'm
very
glad nobody brought it up.
collages of copyrighted material
That would have been awkward.
Basically looked like a third grader made them. And of course, she also continued to stream like there was no tomorrow. She started leaning into Let's Plays, which led to her playing Sims 4 on her Xbox. In October,
Let's
during one such stream,
Plays.
she told two Sims to do the deed, which they happened to do in front of a baby in a crib. Some of her more virulent trolls took this moment to report it to TikTok staff, claiming that it was breaking the terms of service. Since TikTok moderation is run by a bunch of gibbons with typewriters, they actually
Fuck
fell
that.
for it,
Report
and she
anyone
was
like that.
officially
There are
banned from
exceptions for
streaming on her main
sure.
account. But Tofiachu
Yeah,
is
no,
nothing if not persistent. So
I
she
would
vowed
snitch
to
on
for
you.
streaming
I don't know who
moderation
to
for
snitch.
her
I would tell
TikTok,
Carl,
but
I
she
guess.
didn't actually
And then
do
Carl
it
will
over
kill you.
Twitch. Instead, she just started streaming on her second TikTok account. So much for the Great Migration.
Dumb and idiotic is to say that Sims having woo-ha in front of a child is abuse. What the hell? It's literally saying I abused a child.
Okay,
How
I
did
need to change one more
abuse a
thing and then I'm
child through
good.
gaming?
But the TikTok ban was just the start of the craziness. Do you remember how I
Grab.
mentioned that Tofia's actual biological relation to Papachu was in question? Well, while she was live streaming, her mother would occasionally talk about the past. One time, she reportedly mentioned the date she had met Donald, which, according to her, was in 1994. But there was a problem. Tofia was born in July 1994, meaning that she probably had to be conceived in 1993. And her dad is, in fact, probably not her dad. Marie must have realized the mistake she made,
Okay,
taking
and
to Twitter,
then-
where she explained that she had met Papachu in 1994 and Tofia was born in 1995. But this is easy to prove false, so I have no idea what she was even trying to achieve with that. Speaking of her father, he had returned to social media after a long hiatus. Going by the name Martrania Satorium on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter.
That's a
and
wild-ass
He hasn't
name.
posted very much on YouTube, but on TikTok, he quickly got to work. I think these may be thirst traps, but you never really know with this family. Twitter is where he really went crazy.
Okay, I need to test some audio real quick.
More depression. You're not supposed to drink with this drug. What is he doing? Like, what is he doing? And by the way, not like going out on the weekend and having a couple drinks. No. I've said this, Steve Curran, the guy who pissed all over his MacBook and called in the other day. If you missed the MLC after show, you check it out. Steve Curran, my friend Chris in London.
I have it over there.
Friends who drink beers alone at home. And I gotta say, I've never met a person who does that and doesn't have a lot of problems.
Okay, then I guess I get rid of this.
If you're the kind of guy watching this show or another podcast in the evening alone and popping open beer after beer after beer until you
Okay, I guess we're good.
delude yourself.
I already
into
have a
enough
visualizer. I
state
didn't realize I had one in the top corner over there.
that you can pass out and forget your problems. You're not right. You're not right.
Okay, cool.
Making over 900 posts between September 28th and October 19th.
There.
It was pretty
Cool.
much
Now I have it
exactly
all
what you'd
set up.
expect from him. Schizo posting, pictures of himself naked, weird financial stuff, politics, and just for variety, pictures of scantily clad women. It's like he was using his Twitter as his personal archive.
Tomorrow.
He wanted to save rather
Tomorrow,
than what
Tuesday?
it actually is, which is a public platform. He also started popping
Tomorrow,
up in
Tuesday,
chat
I'm
with
off
Sophia's
Tuesday.
lives. At first, she claimed it wasn't actually her father, only to walk that back and say that she had never claimed such a thing, and it was, in fact, her father. This had some unintended consequences. One of the
So I should be
pictures
free.
Papachu posted was a meme of Tofia with Hershey, with a caption saying, "We just finished watching Asian teen videos together." This became one of his most reposted tweets. With this activity, a lot of people started to message him in the DMs. One, claiming to be a Russian girl named Melania, had a very amusing exchange with him, where he went on a rant about how beautiful she was and how he would do everything in his power to make her his wife and business partner. He also said that he had been abandoned by his family and was all on his lonesome. For context, Papachu hadn't been living with them for many months at this point, even though
Have
his
you built up a
SSI
tolerance for me annoying you for a need for
This
help?
really
Or would you be
angered
willing to
Tofia,
waste your
who
time
went on an
helping?
Instagram
Of course,
live
yeah,
to complain about
absolutely.
it. She
Depends on
denied
what it is, but yeah, I'm almost always willing to help out with shit. Okay, now how does that look? Good? Good. I'm slowly re-perfecting things because there was a issue that happened a couple days ago. OBS and super tips. Need to work out how to get Rochi to see and hear them if possible. Getting Rochi to hear them should be easy. Getting Rochi to see them... he might be able to manage your super tips kind of like OJ does, because I don't know exactly how super tip works, but I'm sure we can figure it out. Maybe we need to upgrade my banana to a pineapple or whatever the next stage was. Yeah. It's pineapple, not potato. They rebranded because of you. But yeah, it should be easy enough to fix. I'd love to fiddle around with it. Something I need to refix is, I organized my OBS folder because it was just like, I just kept throwing shit in there and it just became a pile. So I organized it, and now when I turn things on and off, look, it has the transition where it like glitches and comes down, but it doesn't have it when it goes away. This is currently the only transition that works. Like when I turn this on and off, it doesn't have a transition. When I pull this up, it just pops up. It's just, none of my transitions work anymore, which is annoying. Cardiff already told me to cease and desist, so you can't say that word anymore. Aw, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
The accusations that she had abandoned her father.
He ceases
saying
and
that they
desists
were trying
everybody.
their
He's a
best to
real
get him
prick
help
for that.
through Veteran Affairs.
We didn't abandon my father. We're trying to get him help with the VA, and they're not helping us. I am tired of people messaging me, asking me why did I abandon my father?
Why did I
is he in
abandon
a
my
message
brother?
that he's looking for a wife? He's not in his right mind, and you guys keep pushing him to say stuff. And I'm tired of people reaching out to a mentally ill man for views and for money. My family is not views and money. This is a real life situation that I have to go through.
She spent most
Why
of
don't
her
you
live ragging
stop
on
crying?
people for quote-unquote taking
90
advantage of her
seconds?
bad
I'll put them back to
vibes and
60
say things.
seconds.
She even
So
claimed that no one should be
60.
able to message him at all because he had his messages turned off. Her proof was that neither she
Refresh.
nor her mother could message him. But I think a much easier explanation would be that her own father blocked her and his wife on Twitter so that he could message random people on the internet. Things got very complicated in the next few days. Tofia's mom started messaging people claiming that her husband had gone missing. At this time, he was still posting on Twitter, but they weren't able to contact him, and he wasn't at the homeless shelter he'd been staying at. While the family was trying to find him, Tofia was busy doing what she always does, constantly streaming. And if she wasn't streaming herself, she was invading her trolls' live streams to spread toxicity in chat, really saying nothing of substance in the process. When a girl roasted her, she made a video firing back where she bragged about how she was getting all of these brand deals.
Last few days, my OBS/filter has been lagging a bit. I tried turning off a lot of the scenes, but maybe you'd have a better suggestion if game. Yeah, it might be your canvas issue. Because an issue I was having is I was trying to run my OBS at my actual resolution that I capture everything at, which was putting too much stress on the system. So now what I do is I capture at 1910 or 1920 by 1080, and I upscale to 1440. So like on YouTube right now, if you check your quality options, the highest quality option should be 1440p 60 FPS. Which is good, because if you have a decent CPU and a graphics card, you can just upscale your stuff and actually capture it at a lower resolution, which should put less strain on your system. Also, depending on what your rendering API is on your OBS, will determine whether it's using your CPU or your GPU. So, we'll have to figure out what card you are using and figure out which API you're using and see if we can switch, and maybe that'll help as well. Because that was a big thing that was going wrong with my streams. Like, remember, like last month or something like that, where all my streams were super laggy and everything looked like crap? It's because I fucked with some settings I shouldn't have, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know how to change back, so I just basically had to rebuild. So, all that to say is, we can figure it out.
I would unfollow her because you guys helped her to get those brand deals, and she's acting as if she got them by herself, that she didn't need you guys, that she didn't need your help to get her those brand deals.
But she still wasn't done. She released another video specifically calling out a troll account for trying to expose her for, among other things, supposedly defending Leslie Clark for being a PDF file. How she has this much time to bother with this bullshit is beyond me, but I guess she is.
Being unemployed is pretty powerful, I
Confidence
guess.
wouldn't last too long, however.
When you don't have a job and don't have anything to do, you have a lot of time at your hands.
Because in late October, she complained about how TikTok wasn't paying out her funds. She then started begging people to send her $120. Unsurprisingly, people criticized her for this move, especially since she still insisted that she was making loads of money and didn't need a real job. So she deleted the original post.
Exactly.
And took to TikTok, where she
Being
then
unemployed,
stated that she
right?
hadn't
That's
received
what I thought.
any of the $120 from her audience, so it was not a big deal.
Oh, okay. So now my chat's underneath that thing, so I need to figure that one out real quick.
It ended up getting worked out anyway.
There. Perfect.
She claimed the reason that she deleted the post, however, is because they had worked out the money situation. But who really believes
Yeah, okay,
that?
we'll sort it out. I
Seems more like
appreciate
she
you.
deleted
Right
it
time
due
for
to
me to
TikTok
call this
backlash.
client. Muted for 5
Amusingly,
minutes.
she accuses
Okay.
people who criticize her of not
And you
brushing their teeth
said
in the
12
morning. And as we
p.m.
all know,
Eastern.
she's not
Yeah,
exactly an
that
expert on
should be
proper
good.
hygiene. She then went on another live stream saying that she still needed the $120. She even claimed she was looking for work from home jobs again, which could have meant that the money situation was actually dire. Of course, still not dire enough to get her to work at McDonald's. She implicitly admits that they can't pay their rent anymore, but when trying to answer why she won't become a normal
Hey, not
person
paying your
with a
rent is
full
based,
job,
remember?
She says she's just trying her best with the time she has.
Fuck
She's not
landlords
very
and all that?
specific. I don't really know
Or
what
something?
that means,
I don't know,
but
man.
She does say that they only have a few days left to get some money. It seems like some people in the audience eventually took pity on her and sent her $300. But then when she tried to withdraw it, she was told she had to wait until Wednesday. She was understandably pissed, trying to contact customer service, although that was no real help at all. In the end, her attempt to get money was unsuccessful, and soon we would find out exactly why she needed it so badly. A few days
Imagine
after
being a
this,
big
girl
loser.
called Squid, who worked as a housekeeper, claimed that they had to evict a TikToker
Couldn't be
who
me.
were live streaming.
I'm only a
She
regular
refused
sized
to say
loser.
the actual name. This mysterious TikToker had been evicted because they couldn't pay the rent, which this TikToker claimed was because TikTok wouldn't pay them. This was Tofia, as I'm sure you've caught on. The story quickly went viral as people flocked to her to ask questions about the motel room.
I only ever went in there.
I'm gonna grab some
once, and
socks.
that
I'll be
was,
right
like,
back.
The week after they got a clean notice, which means that their room was so disgusting that we almost had to kick them out, and they had to clean it up to not get. It was still disgusting, and it smelled like ass. I'm pretty sure we had to throw away every single set of sheets that we gave them. They refused to ever let us actually come in and clean, which is part of the reason they got kicked out.
In the same clip, she said that Tofia used to refer to her as her maid for clout. According to her, she and other housekeepers were never allowed in the room, only being allowed to take the family's towels and bring in new ones. Even still, they could still smell the room. In a later video, she clarified the reason that they always had roaches everywhere is because they would never clean up their food, leading to, you know, bugs coming out. As Squid started getting attention, Tofia noticed, and she wasn't happy to learn that people were making fun of her. She responded on a live stream, where she accused Squid of not giving the full story, and even threatened her by saying that she would get her fired from her job if she didn't. She also claimed to have reported Squid to the police. Amusingly, she also makes this little comment.
You're a maid, you're not a worker, and you have no right sharing people's business.
There is so much irony in this clip that it feels
She has no
insulting
rights
to
at all
point
because
it
she's
out.
a worker.
Regardless, she follows us up by giving her own version of the story.
She's
In
one of
which
those
she calls the
slaves.
housekeepers her maids again, and then calls them rude and inhospitable. She explains how they totally intended to pay the rent, and that the reason she didn't pay it is not because TikTok didn't pay her, but instead because TikTok didn't pay her.
But the main reason why the rent didn't get paid is because I could have had the money from TikTok to cover whatever my brother couldn't pay until he was able to pay. That was
Excuse me.
The main issue.
She does note that it's her brother.
One
who
happy
usually
customer.
pays the
Let's
rent and that he couldn't cover
go.
it this time
All right.
around. But then again, that doesn't take anything away from Squid's story. Tofia complains about how they were supposedly given until 6 p.m. for her brother to withdraw the money, but claimed that one of the rude housekeepers
All right.
tried to force
It's
them
almost
earlier
5
than
o'clock.
that. This whole story is
What
just
am I
her
gonna get
rambling
done?
and trying to shift blame in whatever way she can. The worst thing that she exposed Squid for is that she was rude and hates her job.
I haven't met
Frankly,
Joyce
if
yet.
you are Tofia Chu's housekeeper, and those are the
This
worst
post not
personality
a
traits you
faint
have,
sticker.
you're not that bad. Still, Squid kept posting on TikTok, responding to Tofia's threats by not taking
Crap,
them
I have to
the least
change my
bit
fucking
seriously.
batteries
She
again.
reminded Tofia that she was indeed kicked out of her room because firstly,
Gotta make sure this
it
is
smelled
actually
absolutely
charging this
horrible,
time.
and secondly, they refused to pay rent. So trying to divert attention from that was ultimately a waste of time.
Alright.
Admittedly, though, she was milking the situation pretty hard. Due
Had to go on
popular
camera today
pressure,
at a
she
work
finally
meeting.
released
Got 5
photos of the
messages from
hotel
people
room.
later
Just
asking what my
look,
streaming
it's
channel is
lovely
because of my
back
setup.
then. I mean, this is just
That's funny. They could just tell. They're like, oh,
the police to do a
this guy's a
welfare
tech
check on the
loser.
family when she saw them sitting on the sidewalk and squatting in their cars, which Tofia took especially personally. So personal, in fact, that she
I'd take that as a
released
compliment.
13
They're like, oh, hey,
random
what,
posts
I mean, you
after
clearly
complaining
stream,
for a
right?
while about how they needed to buy a house because rent was becoming too
I mean,
expensive.
okay,
She
like,
started
I
talking about how
guess,
they
like,
always
I mean,
kept
you've seen
getting
a picture of my
to
computer.
inspect
If
it
somebody
before
saw
they
this, they'd be like,
And she did random inspections.
what do you do? I'd be like,
She talks about how many of the
watch
appliances
YouTube
were
and play
busted
video
and
games.
needed fixing.
Like, okay, yeah, sure, I do live stream too, you know, and I do podcasts, and I do this, and I do that, and I do this, and I do that, but, you know, yeah, it's pretty obvious based on the fact that I just have this behemoth.
We damaged it, and she tried to say that the stove was damaged because of us. It was damaged from whoever stayed there previously. And I noticed because when we got into our room, it smelled horrible. We couldn't ask for another room because that was the last room left. That was the last room left. So we didn't get a choice to pick. We didn't damage the lights.
Where's
That
the
was
master
damaged. The stove
volume?
was
Why is
damaged.
there no
The
master
refrigerator was damaged.
volume?
Luckily, we got
I know
it
how to
working.
do that.
They
Hold on.
didn't get it working for 2 months.
She also went on to claim that the reason they hadn't cleaned out the trash
I'll
was
pull it
because
up
they
from
were
the
too
Windows
busy
mixer.
packing that day to do anything like that.
I don't know if you put that trash behind there from wherever you found the trash because you
There,
you guys
slide it
worked
down to
there, so we
60.
didn't have time to clean the room.
However, she conveniently ignores the fact that they lived in that room for many
Pineapple
months,
filter
and that
might have been
the
the way,
tree had been
might have
so
been the
dirty
giveaway.
that
You
they
were,
just cleaned it. She
you were
spent a lot of
on,
time complaining
you were a
about Squid
pineapple on a
and
meeting?
upset that she had reported them to Child Protective Services. But Squid wasn't done. She took advantage and decided to milk this cow a little bit more. Tofia was so fed up with being bullied that she ended up exposing the actual motel that Squid worked at.
Okay, good, good, because that would be hilarious.
And now the gloves are off. Okay. I was not doxing you. And then you had to
Give
go
me
on
a moment.
Hi, lady.
the place that I worked twice, okay?
But Squid,
Okay. Okay, I like this song. I like this station, but I don't like lyric music when I'm playing a game that has dialogue. So we're gonna switch music now, unfortunately. Ooh. My other Google over here just let me know that, new loudest podcast. So we'll check that out in a moment. Or we could save it for tonight. Might save it for tonight. There we go. Much better.
The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me. Now, what do you want from me, policeman? Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry. Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martinez is a name for anyone who comes from Martinez.
Damn, I got played. I'm a big idiot.
Raoul Ravagel.
Fuck!
Oops, you really didn't get the joke there.
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't...
No, I'm a big retard.
Coopers!
How about a young male in his mid-20s, dark hair, skinny build, a smoker, lives on the balcony?
Yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
Somewhere in the building, a child starts...
What's he in trouble for? Talk? He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there. He's usually home in the evening.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if...
Thanks. Can I come in? Nope. They don't like me. They don't like me because I'm a copper. Ooh, I need to equip... There we go. Now I can pry things open. Ooh, I'm gonna steal these guys' shoes.
This door
Break
has
it
been
open.
closed with a pad. It's a solid lump of metal, but better whip out those cutters.
Well, but now I have the cutters. I'm dual wielding tools.
This
What do you
door
think?
has been closed with a padlock. The chalk drawn number on the board says number 11.
Interfacing. Okay, let's do it.
This door has been closed.
Let me in.
The shackle
I'm the
After
police.
you, detective.
Bam! Kick it open. Or gently open it. That's fine. Whatever works. It's a communist's house.
Bust. Krasmazov, nom de guerre, was an economist and a theoretical historian. He was a leading figure in the Grad side of the turn-of-the-century revolution, where he headed the 9-day government. Mazov is considered the father of scientific communism.
The White Star, the photos on the
Wow.
wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting. The White Star,
Well, Kim. Another door successfully opened for no reason. Oh, and I robbed him.
You hear someone walking. You
Open
can
the
feel
fuck
tension.
up.
A poor communist.
Do I have to open the door?
Um,
Warrant?
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
A poor communard.
Do I have to? Do you have?
Let's go. We don't have...
Fine, I'll come back with a reason to open your door.
That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers.
I'll keep my armistice handy, detective.
The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Mazarin
Right.
and the communists.
She's probably smoking
during
meth
the
in there.
Revolution. Even today,
And she's not
half a
sharing.
century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure. Because white is the color of peace. The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society
cool. I guess
that
that
could
makes
exist in
sense.
accord with the natural world, and that to symbolize the toppling of the old order. Also, some social democrats were already using it. Nothing at all yet. Right now, it's just meaningless shapes on a wall.
I'm not... No. I would never save her from a fire. I'm not the firefighters. I'm a policeman. I'm the law, not the safety. Oh, that one just opened right up. Alright. Oh, it's a public restroom. Gross. I'll just take all the public restroom medications. Alright, now we just head upstairs. Hey, don't watch me. If you watch me, I'll have to ask you about this murder. Exactly. Thank you very much. Help, I'm stuck in my car and it's about to blow up. Do I look like a firefighter? Am I a locksmith? Like, is it a crime that you're locked in your car right now? Did you commit a crime? Do I have to arrest you? Like, are you self-reporting? Like, what reason do I possibly have to open this door other than, help me? Money. Just a door. Nothing for you here right now. But there will be later.
This door is made of metal. Number 20.
Let's see if...
Nope. We have to come back later. A buoyant dance track. Cool. Well, you guys enjoy your party instead of talking to me. I would avoid me too. Now I gotta go upstairs and talk to Cindy the Skull. Or closed.
A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor. A former architect stands before a slice of window. A room plan.
Shivers are my favorite moment in the game.
A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and frozen, with temperatures falling down to -20 degrees Celsius. Is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Traces of sadness are visible in her expression. Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects the room with the neighboring apartment. Ideas for arranging the furniture have been jotted down. It's clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls. A standard HB graphite pencil has fallen off a three-legged stool in the middle of the room.
Sometimes you just like shiver and you're just like psychic. You can just like feel things. All right, Cindy. Give me 2 seconds. I gotta go up here. And then I'm gonna break into your house. Well, Kim got in there. He just walked through the walls. Kim's a cheater. Hey, Cindy, shut the fuck up. I'm going in your house. I'm stealing your shit. I found your hidden pants pile and your money. I love the little scribble sound. Ooh, there's a cat drawn there. That's cute. Oh no, there's loot down there in the dumpster. Alright, I'll get it later.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing on Rue d'Esperance. You wait and see.
Why would I want to see it?
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. Had a battery of tests just last week. I'm practically a patchwork of interesting critters. Kinda like a man-o'-war.
Ooh, alright.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil. The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust, it's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
Joyce. I've never heard it be called a lady's paint bucket before.
Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Rivershore. Its moneyed residents used to posh restaurants and upscale.
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to Ozon.
Okay.
Ooh. Not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret. I'm a coal miner.
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
Yes, I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me, but somehow it never happens.
Right, that's so true, isn't it? You're at work and you're wishing for death and it just, nobody kills you.
It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing at all. Shoot, piggy. It's what you do, isn't it?
Red dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock.
Jamrock.
You ain't seen nothing yet, piggy boo. I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
Damn, she called us fucko. We're dead.
Watch your back, ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
Well, Kim, we got called fucko. We lose. We're out of here.
It didn't seem to care that much. To round things off, she released one more video where she talked some more about the irreparable damage done to the motel. According to her, they had to throw away 2 mattresses because they were soaked in piss.
We had to throw away both of the mattresses in your room.
I am not allowed to stab them. I'm police. I have gun though. Well, I don't have gun. Kim has a gun. I lost my gun.
Arguably, being a petty idiot just led to more people tuning in, which she really needed at that moment because her entire family had just become homeless. Except for her father, who had been arrested again on the 31st of October. And this begins the start of Tophia's arc as a nomad. She continued to live stream, and because she kept using the green screen effect, it still looked like she was in her old room. Well, it didn't really look like it, but, you know, she thought it did. Since they were all homeless, they ended up visiting a homeless shelter during a Thanksgiving event. When people started asking about it, she at first denied that they were in a homeless shelter at all, but
smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf
I love the narrator.
Around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
Is what you want to say, but look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub. A well-kempt, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair. Despite the first hints of grey, she's elected to keep it au naturel, shaped into a permanent wave, late 40s style. Positively statuesque, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry, wealth and all its possibilities. Now look at you, you misery-clad simian.
Damn.
Barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too... You think your little communism protects you from this feeling? No. The more demeaning it is to grovel at her feet.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. Of course, Detective.
Do I have any clothes for that? I don't think I do. No volition. Nope.
It's the ledger you found. Oh, and an incredibly cool piece of kitchen. It's just toilet paper. Still wet, toilet paper, I mean kitchen tissue, sorry, peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off your finger and voila, the ledger now looks marginally better.
How do I equip it again?
It's the ledger you found in the... It takes about half an hour. Not much has changed in the meanwhile.
Interfacing 5. Okay, I guess I'll roll that.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. The two sides of the board appear slightly misaligned. The slides snap back into place without resistance, or 2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard. Two octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there too.
Bye. Thanks for stopping by.
Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of card. It smells of chewing gum. A touch of cinnamon. The end of summer. You think the label. Familiar handwriting lines the inside. Harry, it begins. You're all ready. Your hand shake. Every step I take, it grows. You kisses,
I'm dying
kisses,
of reading.
kisses. You feel the air sucked out
I'm
of your
dying of
lungs
sad.
and the blood sucked out of your head.
Hi,
Everything around
DRWC
you
show.
gets
I didn't realize that was you. I wasn't
small
reading the
white
name
dots
of the
of
chatter. How are you doing this morning? Good to see ya.
You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, no, hold on. To what? There's nothing.
Detective, is everything all right?
Oh, I fell sideways. Title screen.
There is nothing. Again. Nothing sad, brother. No treachery, just blackout. Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you, that's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia. That's me. Blue eyes, that's me. Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion. Even in the darkness, he's grasping for it. Still trying to hold on to the great sorrows slipping in the water. Slimy.
No, I was cool. I'm
cool when you're dead, brother.
That's okay. Being dead's not the worst.
Mammalian cortex, we call it the shadow.
Oh no!
Oh, picture's too small to see. I can see it up here in this screen, though.
Because it's always there.
Tell him. Tell him.
Ah, yes. In the olfactory system, they call it the apricot chewing gum scented one. It's unhealthy of them to linger on it so. But as they say, what do you do?
Yeah, man. Fuck everything. Total blackout forever. Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing. Don't prod at it. It will start moving again. There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on. You think they
just
would
lay
let
here
you
then, forever,
until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No, Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
Can somebody just shoot me
but
then?
you are. They're pouring something on you. Something in you.
It's delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness.
Oh.
In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket, the air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin.
Drink. Water.
Okay.
The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes.
Where's my water?
The darkness parts.
Drink.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it.
Oh man, I didn't mean to cut him off. He says, you haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration. Yeah, tell that to John. And with that, I'll be right back. I need to grab water.
Then they confirmed that they were at the Joy Junction Convention Center, which is kind of a roundabout way of saying that they were actually at a homeless shelter. But because she continually tried to hide it and tiptoe around the topic, people were desperate to figure out the truth. But in another strange twist, Tofia seemed to maybe not even realize that she was in a homeless shelter. She referred to it as a convention center, which made a lot of people think that maybe she thought it was the same as, let's say, Comic-Con, meaning it's like a cool event to attend. Even Mama Chu fell for the trap, saying that it's definitely not a homeless shelter. Meanwhile, in early December, the footage of Papa Chu's arrest was leaked to the public, and it's probably one of the most insane things that I have ever seen. As crazy as this was, it paled in comparison to Slidell's life on the outside. Since they had no TV, Tofia could no longer do Let's Plays, so her 2 Xboxes were just sat in the car. They had even more Xboxes they were trying to pawn off for parts, but unfortunately, on December 17th, someone broke in and stole their valuables. Tofia would go on Instagram to discuss the topic.
What happened was that literally stuff was thrown out of the car, right out of the Jetta. So I don't know if it was thrown out of the Jetta. I thought people threw it there to make it look like we were littering. We came back, so then I decided to go into the car and check because I noticed the clothes were thrown around. I said, okay, cool, let me go check. My 2 Xboxes were stolen.
Tofia claims that the robbers were caught on video camera, saying she was confident that they would eventually be caught, and warning them that they should turn themselves in. Well, they weren't caught, and they didn't turn themselves in. And on the topic of wasting money, unfortunately, the family still hadn't really learned their lesson from being homeless. They still spent money door dashing food, and when that got a bit too expensive, Tofia started buying Lunchables. At every turn, they can't seem to make the right decision. Eventually, Christmas came, and while the family didn't have money for gifts, Tofia decided to give the gift of herself to the world. Even as she was standing out in the cold and literally homeless, she was still flexing on her trolls by talking about how her life is so much better than theirs because she gets to just hang out all day, while other people have to stand on their feet to
that's
make
who
a
we're
living.
watching,
This was also
Tofia
at the
Chu.
time when everyone thought that TikTok would be
Well,
permanently
Turkey
banned
Tom
in the
talk
United
about
States.
Tofia.
So a lot of people questioned how she was even going to make money going forwards.
I have over $1,000 plus in TikTok. Duh, TikTok still has to pay us that. Even
Duh.
if it's getting bad, they have no choice but to pay me that money.
I think it's probably worth mentioning.
Do
that
they?
the
What if
average
they,
salary
just
in
don't?
Albuquerque is $30 an hour.
Sue them.
Which comes up to about
Fight them.
$4,800 a month before
Kill
tax.
them.
And she is boasting about
Well, maybe not the last one.
$1,000 that probably took her over a month to gather up. But despite the boasts, Tofia knew she couldn't actually just sit on her ass and make money. So she finally stood up.
Well, that's
and
gross.
started letting people pay her to do jumping jacks. At this point, a lot was happening in just a matter of days. In early January, Brother Chu was arrested for a traffic violation. Just a few days later, he was exposed by cursed decals on YouTube who showed Brother Chu's Snapchat messages flirting with a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah,
He
Nova
was
Nova
pretending to
is
be
a
16.
character.
This was later confirmed by matching the phone to the one Brother Chu owns. Remember, this is the same guy who accused his ex of being some kind of chomo. It defies understanding how messed up both Tofia and her brother are, but then again, maybe we shouldn't be that surprised, given their parents. In a live stream, Tofia gave us a little bit of an insight to their childhoods that may help piece together the puzzle. Apparently, Papa Chu was intent on turning his 2 bundles of joy into millionaires. He tried to get Tofia to be a stock trader while he flip-flopped between making
Yeah,
Brother
clearly
Chu
that
do
worked.
the same, and
What
also
happened?
encouraging him to lean into IT. He
You were reading your paperwork. Then you passed out. I carried you to my kinema to take you to a hospital. Then you came to. 10 minutes, maybe. That does sometimes happen. You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed? Good.
The Ledger of Failure and Hatred is a special item that can be used both as an interactable and a tool equipped in your held
There we go.
slot for skill bonuses. Find it under...
Thanks. There we go. It gives me less authority, but I don't care. Thanks, Kim. I'll try not to pass out again on the job, okay? Now I'm gonna go brute force this lady to give me money.
Dissuaded Tofia from wanting to open a restaurant because it's an oversaturated market. When the IT career didn't work out, Brother Chu had to become a stock trader, and Tofia could do whatever she wanted, but when her brother figured out how to fix the brakes on a car, he had to become a mechanic, and Tofia had to get on stocks again. This was all happening around the time when he wasn't taking his bipolar medication, instead replacing it with testosterone pills, which, I mean, maybe he'll get really jacked.
What can I help
possible.
you?
Honestly, it's pretty
Well,
hard
that
to
worked
feel
in one
sorry
try.
for them despite
Really put your back into it. Yell it from the top of your lungs.
I mean, I don't want to yell it.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. The wind is a bit strong. Could you repeat that? Of course. How much do you need?
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more about your predicament than she's letting on?
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you. The paper
Oh,
is
amazing.
cold,
Thank you.
oily.
Now I can
There
pay
must
for my
be
window.
About 200 real in that zip bag.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
You illustrate the expression by holding an imaginary and very, very tiny peon between your thumb and...
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salaries?
Nothing. Thanks. I just wanted money. Bye. I'm gonna go pay for my window. I'm gonna tell Gart that I'm sorry for being a horrible person like I normally am.
that. Similarly, it's kind of hard to hate their goofball of a father who returned to social media shortly after this, showing off his delectable feast. Let's be honest, he probably ate the panties too. But the rest of the family weren't about to let Papa Chu one-up them. In January, Tofia invited Mama Chu to Comic-Con. She somehow scrounged up the money to pay $151 for the tickets and was planning to spend more money to get signatures from people there. When viewers pointed out the fact that she was spending her money pretty irresponsibly, she felt the need to defend herself.
And I'll tell you why Comic-Con is better than living in a home. Because I don't have to have in the back of my mind that I'm going to be evicted because I don't own my house.
Come here, trash everything. This isn't a game show. I'm not going to accept it. You owe me cold, hard money. I want to see that money in the palm of my hand. Every single cent.
Damn you, fat Everard. Your novelty
As it turns out, inviting her...
Your
You can
novelty
cash it in
check
at the
is
local
useless.
fleet near the harbor gates, though it might not be enough to cover it.
Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. It's good you paid before 9 p.m., or your door would have been locked electronically.
Funny that it says 9 p.m. but gives the military time for it.
Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
That's a lot.
Here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you? Another thing. Great. I love those. Oh yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door. No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just a frit warehouse, probably. Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust.
He's attempting
Hey,
to maintain an
you don't
air
know.
of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias I manage. So I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that.
Well, it
Yes.
just so happens because I'm from the future, I know where the key is. But I just can't get it yet. I don't have the ability. I don't want to talk to Kuno. I guess I'll inspect the corpse.
The corpse looks at you with bulging white eyes. The face around them does not look human. It's swollen and ready to burst. His lips are fish-like and his tongue like a ball gag in his mouth. You seem to be holding your breath.
Well, that's fine.
A cargo belt twists his neck at an unnatural angle. The body below appears stiff. It's letting out an ungodly rot. The smell seeps in even through your clenched nostrils. There he still is, looking the...
Nope. I will just have to endure.
There he still is. Look, as you breathe in, the odor comes
Thank
over
you.
It's a smell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your hands at your sides and your eyes squinting, you stand in it. The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enamel boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo belt used to fasten him to the branch above appears industrial in strength. The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers them. Delicate and fragile, they feel these are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set. The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt. The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a sliding buckle ties the belt to the branch. This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo under 6-rotor airships. Oh my, there's something on the belt, a familiar word that speaks to the thirst within you. Vermilion, in yellow letters, along the length of the twisting cargo belt. Only a deep longing for vermilion golden spirits lets you decipher.
Extremely. Airlifting. I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them.
Apparently this is the reinforced kind for air transport. My brain told me.
The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand, without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed. The brief suggested as much, politically motivated by the ongoing strike. Did you not get a briefing? Then you should ask me the first moment we get. A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle.
Cool.
The cadaver hangs from the cargo. His eyes are milky white, and blind, dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognizable mess.
I'm gone. Do I remind you of someone?
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
You sure wriggled out of that one? Coppellini.
I just said what my brain said.
Into the wild pale in the past, way out in the west.
Cool.
What do you mean? Ask me more. What? It's the power of your imagination. Go ahead. Ask me more questions. You fucking love questions.
But why?
You're a copperoony. Look at all of them go. Do you want more questions? Coming right up, copperoony Rooney. This is getting upbeat now. Because you have loved it, me improvocapo. It was love all along. Sure, Lobo. I can ask you a question. Why are you doing this? Looking in my face, motionless, looking into my eyes, standing here. Why are you investigating my murder? You're a lying sack of shit, Coppo. You're doing this because there is nothing else to do. Everything else is over. It's just me now. I'm a joke. Look at me. A killer. A motherfucker. And a killer.
Takes one to know one.
Go ahead, Coppo. Come back later, Coppo. Amuse yourself with my...
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. His corpse is marked by stars. Alcohol and heartbreak.
Nah, I'm gonna get over the alcohol.
Your fist clenches suddenly. Decay is creeping on the tattoo. Already, most of the canvas that's holding it has darkened. Now, it disintegrates slowly, letting out a stink.
Of no nation that I know of. If anything, it reminds me of religious
The pattern does not stir patriotic or religious sentiment in you. What it does is speak to the wounded, limping animal.
So am I.
He wears a wide leather belt around his waist. He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open.
A Trigger Sunshine. Mini.
Ooh, Trigger Sunshine. Ooh.
Triggered is the world's leading manufacturer of intercommunication devices, primarily projectors. The camera before you looks familiar somehow.
An
Shut up,
instant color
randos.
camera. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper, rolling out.
In case we need it.
Beautiful.
Yes, it is pretty cool, isn't it?
There is only one.
You're pretty
ampoule
cool, Kim.
left. Use it wisely.
It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter. To us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it around. Sure. Just don't lose it.
The glossy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper, teeming with opportunistic organisms. As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you, only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the corpse.
How should I know why you are squinting, officer? Oh. You are trying to assess lividity.
The monster comes back into focus, an explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins. His stomach appears pregnant with something. Black liquid streams down his thigh and onto his boot.
So, what do you think?
I think he's dead.
I agree. Totally dead. Dabadoob doob dead. I agree. Totally dead. No siree. I agree. Totally dead. Absolutely. I agree. Totally dead. He is.
What is dead? He is. Good banter, Kim.
I think he was upright immediately after death. Blood has gathered in his hands and feet, and his neck. The noose acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis here is in tune with the hanging. That's what I think. There's always a chance. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in tune with the belt. We'll have to get him down first.
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud
Ew,
below the
yeah.
man's feet.
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion.
The fuck he's saying?
Talking about shit.
You don't know.
Did we? I don't feel lucky. I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquents have made our jobs harder with their little sport.
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
It means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal like.
Coin slot's so brutal.
But there is no breath to catch. Only the cadaver.
Of course. Come back later, Corporal. Amuse yourself.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's done.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt, his torso covered in tattoos.
I have a skill point. I don't know what to use it in. My stats are pretty decent. My savoir-faire is bad, though, so I'll upgrade that. Oh, I have to go over here and do this. Crap. Okay, I'll do that in a minute.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by...
Yeah, I want shivers. Cool.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should not familiar in a good way. You might. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in sur-le-clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar, and not only to your fingers.
Where do I get the thought to give me money whenever I think about things? I need to find out how to get that. There. Where do I get this? Who's Trant? Okay, so I have to go find Trant. Something I can't do
Mom
yet.
was probably a pretty bad idea, since Mama Chu couldn't hold her bladder, which Tofia had no issue exposing to the entire world. Perhaps the funniest part of this is that TikTok was on the verge of being banned, meaning she would be cut off from her only source of income within days. She had made an account on Rednote. There, she just got roasted even harder, this time by Chinese people as well. When the day of the ban finally came, she didn't take it too well, posting a very ominous message on her Instagram. "We know who's to really blame for this." She then posted a rant where she complained that TikTok wouldn't be paying her the $180 that they still apparently owed her. Whatever the case, the money couldn't have been that important.
Why do they owe
she
you?
ended up getting Brother Chu into the Comic-Con venue, even though she originally hadn't bought a ticket for him. But while they were there, it seems like he did have some fun sporting this
There it is
epic
again.
hat. And by the end of the
scent
con, they had
apricots with a touch of cinnamon. Smells like the end of some distant summer. The surface of another planet or some ancient temple. Bitter, citrus, sweet. It seems to grow stronger, like a glow.
It smells like my ex. Bleh.
Whatever petrochemical byproducts they used to create this artificial flavor have bonded tightly to the wrapper. Or is that just your memory filling the gaps? Until a blossom of skin and flower petals erupts behind your closed eyes. made of toffee, cream, and distance. You just had to take a dive. Your heart working overtime, trying to keep up with the panicked synapses firing all over your brain, moving liters of blood through you, panicking.
Uh-oh, I'm thinking about my ex.
Feels so familiar. The sun sets into the sea, but the water does not boil. Instead, it turns to liquid gold. For a moment, the world's store of precious metals seems to increase dramatically, and you are rich. There is a movement next to you, the shuffle of a small coat, warm like the evening. But when you turn toward it, there's nothing there. Why are you talking to a gum wrapper?
Hey, shut up. I like gum wrappers, apparently.
Yes, from the height of antiquity, a long time ago.
Can I eat this? Can I eat the wrapper? I'm now thinking about my ex.
There are several footprints in the mud, maybe more than 12. No, 8 pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud. 1. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 46. 2. Step 3. Hobnailed work 4. Stand, you don't know. It's a miracle you can tell the prints apart as 5. 6. An aberration. Lighters, impossible to tell. Could also, you're not bad. It's as if the whole world darkens. Everything else has a thin film of unimportance on it. 7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot. Number
Oh, he's serious. It does literally have a... oh, no, that's
twice
rain.
as deep as the
Never
others.
mind. I'm dumb.
The weight exceeds 200 kilograms. 8. And yet another standard work boot. Number 44.
How many? I was pretty off then. I counted 20. I never got the hang of it. Hyperopia. Do you see anything out of the ordinary? A woman or a kid? Okay. How do you know?
He knows it's hard to discern sex from a person's gait.
Understood. Anything else? 200? Could it be the combined weight of 2 people, one carrying...
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
Possibly, yes. Interesting. Let's name it the odd soul. Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor. Or maybe...
He regrets it the moment he says it.
I don't know why I said that. We are not looking for a drummer. We are looking for a group of dock workers.
Well, you don't know.
Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out their right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right.
He doesn't seem to hear you. Looking...
We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent, no? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame.
It is not impossible.
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Havashon. 7 days below freezing.
Correct.
Fair enough.
Again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the track.
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree. Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
Indeed. They all stood in a row here and looked at the tree.
Okay, I got one thing to do before we grab that body.
It's raining again. It was clear
Good.
just an hour ago. Excuse me?
She's uncomfortable. Maybe you should drop this line of questioning. She shifts in her seat awkwardly.
Wouldn't it be funny if I beat you to death?
The tear machine stands. Your bottles clunk into. Do you know what you should do with that money, kiddo?
No. I'm gonna buy cigarettes so I can have one with Kim.
A colorful display. The bottles with there, in that dark green glass, all in vain. The great flowing river of warmth. A small cabinet on the wall. Their logo is the.
Just ask me if you need anything from St. Baptiste. We don't stock prescription meds, but we do have Nosaphed, Dramamine, Magnesium, and Hypnogamma. Okay, here. I hope St. Okay, here. Welcome to Frit. Feel free to look around or something. Everything is out on the shelves. Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but, wow. I didn't know you worked for the union, sir. Anything else I can do for you?
Blow the whole thing on speed and gin right now.
Does she have speed?
A colorful display. The bottles wink at you in that dark green.
I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health, but I guess you already know that.
Hey!
Know this.
Stop being right.
Never finish your alcohol quest if you don't buy beautiful alcohol.
Hey, I don't want to do my alcohol quest.
Here you go, mister.
Thanks.
You see, the packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. You see several.
I don't want a raincoat, and I don't want to steal it because Kim's here.
A lorry stuck in the windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with the back end of the cabin as a small perch to sleep.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is.
There he is. In front of. He was acting tough before. This probably scared him a bit. Who knows when it will come in handy. A slightly scared, racist lorryman.
Ooh.
The driver has adorned his space with a large metal pendant hang.
Alright, let's talk to this old lady, and then head back to the corpse and take it down.
The small, wrinkled photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century. It's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter. Nothing. Her smile just keeps widening. No, this one is a monster in disguise.
Oh, well, maybe.
No response. Wherever this woman is, you're
rude. I'm gonna spit on you next time.
An old monument. A silver plaque on the as you look up, you notice something about the statue. What did he do? High above you, the king stands triumphantly oblivious to your memory.
Does that mean... Oh, crap, hold on. Pretty sure that means I'm locked out of it after that. I think I already have Max Encyclopedia. Yeah, I would never be able to re-roll that.
A lorry, the windows, the driver, as a large the back.
Racist, nationalist, likely.
There, he was acting tough with a large metal pendant.
Hey, old lady, I'm gonna yell at you this time.
It's the warmth of it. No, this one is a mon.
Wait, she's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her. Why? I just told you why.
Okay.
A silver. As you look up, you notice something, even by the standards. Well, he blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline of his
that sucks.
maladministration. Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored. He called it the Sol.
Kind of cool, I guess.
It was obscene. There were but wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction. You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering, not just any nose candy though. We're talking Royal Philippian blow. Allegedly, that's what the revolutionaries said. 150. His Majesty's courtiers said cocaine. Beneath the cold waters of the insolent, a group of marble pleurons still surround the king's vandalized tomb. The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's airship. Most historic. Some years ago, the statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart. Like an instant. People in Martinique, Philip III, the squanderer, however, with someone shot him in the heart.
Okay, I can see it. Well, Martinez is riddled with bullet holes. Why not? What did...
The king stands high above you.
He says, why not? That's pretty much his whole attitude with Harry. It's just, sure. Hey, you.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your... Huh? The bosses, man. Dunno. What you need? It's like, whatever's going... Some pretty wild stuff. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like,
yeah,
strike
her.
negotiator type. They know what's up. They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching. Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined.
What's better than chasing transient pleasures? The more transient, the better. He tries his best to look nonchalant, but there's a rigidity in him.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man.
In his eyes, an unfamiliar longing.
Nice.
Flecks of brown. It's hard to say. His gaze wanders. The road continues for miles, flowing together with other roads, turning into causeways or bridges, ending suddenly in dead ends, or ramping up or down highways. Above the Jamrock Quarter, in the form of a raised motorway, and then the never-ending sprawl of Forburg, high above buildings, new and old, the air filled with the rumble of motor engines. To the old south, to the farthest outskirts of Revachol, through the checkered fields of farmland, upstream to the river Esperance, past Montmartin, the border approaches. You cannot see. It's out of the city. Up ahead, the mist blocks all sight. A gale blows across your cheeks.
Ooh, I can't even see through it with my future powers.
Before you stands a tall lorry driver with sad eyes.
Excuse me?
A flinch jolts his frame. The question has touched a nerve.
Man, I don't know what to say. Not much anyone can do. There's no helping in absence, you know? I miss my family. They're all I have. My wife, second kid on the way, waiting all the way in Diora. And here I am stuck in this shit, so far from home. Diora of the Seven Seas. It's on the other end of Le Caillou, pretty much, on another island called Laurentide, off mainland. We've got a little place there. Can almost hear my kid laugh when it snows. What's it like? Good. And bad. An ache that brings you joy. I think of them a lot. I dream up these silly scenarios in great detail of living with them. It comforts me. What about you, Cop Man? You missing someone?
Is that what it is? This feeling? No, it's scarier than
I miss my
You're
gun.
pursued by a hunter, smelling of apricots and sorrow, and the past.
You lost your gun. Oh man, that's bad news. Especially here in Marnaise. I hope you find it soon before things turn foul. But, thanks for this. It's nice to talk to someone. And I know it wasn't easy to ask.
I mean, technically it was. I only had to roll once. Alright, I will be right back. I gotta use the restroom again.
Somehow managed to pay $320. As of today, the family is still
Oh, this
homeless.
video's almost
TikTok
over anyway.
did come back, so Tofia continues to do daily live streams begging for donations. And the most recent update was that she admitted that she doesn't wash her lady parts because it's apparently self-cleaning and washing it could cause an infection. On one hand, Tofia is a victim of her circumstances. A child brought up in terrible conditions with an irresponsible mother and a basically schizophrenic father who was never pressured to learn hard work, fiscal responsibility, or even just basic hygiene. On the other hand, she is a 30-year-old woman who always manages to make the worst possible choice and then spits venom at anyone who challenges her. Is there room for pity? Sure, but it's hard to feel bad when her response is nothing but bile, and she continues to worsen her life by posting on TikTok instead of just getting a job. I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things also. I'm Jarvis.
I'm Jordan.
Ooh, quick
All right.
speed run.
How's it feel?
Personal best, PB.
Stop
The man
telling
before
me to
you
watch
is naked.
The White Lotus.
Hmm.
I'm never going to watch
The
it.
Steel
I don't think it's a real
Reinforced
show.
belt
If
presents
you
a
turn it
unique
on, it'll just be
challenge.
static.
I brought Chen
I don't-
cutters.
Every
They
time I
don't
ask
see
somebody
you
to explain the
playing
show to me, they're
approach
like,
to the
oh,
belt.
well, no.
The
it's like
cadaver
pros
is a
when
good
board game,
1.2
you get lost
meters
in the
up.
minutia. I'm
Neither
not
one
going
of
to
us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material.
An acrobatic maneuver would solve this situation. Nothing can go wrong with a good maneuver.
I have thought of that, yes. But the tire tracks would compromise the scene. Any prints would become illegible. That's if we get it through the hole in the fence. Also, my MC has a sloped roof. It's a sports model. The roof is slippery. An all-around bad platform to stand on.
He could come up with at least 4 more reasons why not to trample on the roof of his sports model motor carriage.
How about I take you, piggyback?
The fuck
Okay.
are these pigs?
Are they bank or something? Oh, it's fucking boring, Kuno. Wish they'd fuck already.
I wasn't actually implying I would. I meant it's a bad idea.
It's a fucking hilarious idea. You two.
In silence, the lieutenant gives you a meaningful glance, as if to say, case in point.
Yeah, bang bang.
How? It absolutely will not, officer.
Yeah, now what?
They'll miss. The pigs will miss Kuno.
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He appears too deep in concentration to even notice what you said.
I'll blow his head off.
Take it.
Yeah, take.
Silence, and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks, securing it in place. That's a keel. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
He's gonna fucking miss.
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls.
God damn it.
A lot of things he feels bad about it. About his eyes mostly. Just having bad eyesight.
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he?
No, we are lucky as it is. Any more mistakes could put us in an unfortunate position with the locals. We have eyes.
Let me
on
try.
us. I didn't do us any favors with that. I have to say, it's...
You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot yourself.
Yeah, hand-eye coordination. Let me try it. Do I have anything to boost it? No, but I have a skill point.
Start a show.
You're listening to the Carl Network.
Attention parents, what you're about to see is not suitable for kids. Shoot, it's
The
not
man
suitable
before you
for some
is
grown-ups.
naked, but for a pair of underpants and white boots.
Yes, we do.
I'm going to give the
It's
people
bad
what
as
they
it
want.
is. Us shooting
Sensation,
go ahead.
horror,
I'm
shock.
not stopping you.
This is the sorry.
Fucking banana boy, huh? Take it and shoot yourself in the mouth.
The cold piece of bacon. You've held this. An A9 on. Cougar is silent. Aggression gaps. The button comes into focus.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in the fucking mouth?
Your field of view.
He's crying. You gonna cry now, fucking faggoty?
Oh no.
Hola, creepo.
Foes, welcome to another episode of your favorite true crime.
I'm gonna try
podcast,
this.
show
I mean, I
about
really,
creeps,
I really want to fucking try to shoot Kuno ass.
And I got great news, everybody. Today we have replaced the teeth with the tits from WATP, from Once Over
You
with
feel
Bailey.
as a
Joining me
dog.
today for the episode, it is Lucy Tightbox.
Well, hello, and thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be a creep today.
Hi, Lucy.
Every day, Lucy. I know you. Don't
I
forget.
admit to nothing.
Holy shit.
Wow. You don't
The sound of the explosion from your gun echoes all over Martinez. The bullet found its way to the heart of a kid.
I got what I wanted. This is an amazing game. Fantastic. That's just simply incredible.
I'm gonna have to admit it. They're right on bathroom walls. Lucy Tightbox is with us all day today, folks, and I gotta tell you, this is gonna be an exciting episode. You challenged me.
The man
You picked
before you
category.
is-
I sure did.
Yes, we
You want
do.
to tell everybody what we're doing?
Go.
We are going to be talking about creeps that inspired
A cold
movies
youth,
today.
Kuno,
Did you come up with that
the
because
buckle.
the
Why
Oscars
don't
were
you just
yesterday?
shoot
Of
yourself in
course,
your
absolutely.
mouth?
I am very
Tasty
thoughtful and
and
always think
nice.
about things in ways like that. No, absolutely. I had no idea that
Damn.
that was going to be so wonderfully coincidental.
Well, we
I just
nailed
love
it.
movies. I love movies. I talk about movies all the time on Once Over with
The
Kaylee,
man
and I was
before
like,
you is
there are
naked.
so many disgusting
Yes, we
people
do.
that movies have been based
Go.
on. Why would we not talk about those creeps?
You,
There was that
Kuno,
George W. Bush
the buckle.
movie.
Yeah, it's true.
There was a,
You're gonna
there was a
Your
Nixon
feet-
movie.
Look, he's
What about Ed
crying.
Gein?
Yeah.
There's all sorts of movies out there. They're all
Now,
fucked up
fucking
people.
faggot.
I don't know why I'm taking shots.
Woo, we did it.
Today. It's fucking
The
weird.
buckle
Weird
explodes
start.
into
Because
tiny
the
pieces,
Oscars.
Must be.
coming loose
Must
with
be.
a whir.
I'm happy to be
With your
here with you. I'm
hand
excited to
numb
get into a
from the
competition, but
recoil,
last week,
you
Carl
look
and
at
I
the looking straight
had a
at you,
competition. And for those of you who
helpless,
don't know, this
trapped
is your
within
first time
itself.
tuning in. The show is a competition. Usually, my co-host Carl and I will be going back and forth about a creep in a given category. And then you folks
Ooh.
will go to the creep
Okay,
list
he's
and
right.
decide whose creep was worse.
Okay.
Who has brought the creepier creep?
It takes
And
a
there's a point
millisecond for
system
the
involved.
association
Currently,
to
the score
flash
is
within
1-0.
your cortex.
I'm winning.
You have no idea
But every week we
where
got to
it's
find out who
coming
won
from.
last week.
Only
So
that it's
I want to
right.
introduce the. I can't believe it. I am surrounded by beautiful women today.
Then the rigor
Dude,
in
why
his
can't
muscles
Carl go on vacation
gives
all
up,
the time?
and he
Here she
smashes
is.
sideways into the
Danny,
spring
Danny,
letting
reading
out
results
a
so
horrid
dandy.
stench.
Please won't you post that fanny all over
Ace is high.
the Patreon, Danny, Danny.
The
That
ace
body's
is
so
high.
uncanny.
A custom
Smooth like
invented by
lemon
the
shandy.
aerostatic
Oh yeah, she's
brigades
my
during
creep.
I get to high five Kim.
is used to celebrate success in Revachon, especially
Danny, I
in
almost
sports.
forgot. You sent
The
me the
gesture
most
spread across the
adorable
world, despite
video
the
last
defeat
week,
of the
didn't you?
revolutionaries.
I did.
You could add an ace's
You got to
low
see
to
this.
it
Little
if
Lady
you like,
K
by
said her
turning
first
your back
words.
after the high and waiting for another.
At 3 months old.
I'm 3 months old.
Can you believe it? You want to see this? You want to see a baby video, Lucy?
Oh, desperately.
Okay. This is definitely worth it. This is Little Lady K.
The
Hold on,
high
I gotta do
arrives
this the correct
with a
way.
sharp slap. As
And
you
I wish
turn
I was
around,
ready.
there
I
is a
forgot.
chill.
But it's worth it.
gonna
Here
Man,
we go.
3 months old. I feel like it was just
then-
yesterday.
And with
While
furious
visiting-
precision, the lieutenant is
Why
not
is this
one
being so
to
loud
leave
and
an
automatically
ace's
playing?
low hanging.
Now that was sweet. That was an awesome scene.
These guys were.
Yeah, we're faggots. Got a problem with it?
We will perform a field autopsy and determine the cause of death. But before... Excuse me.
Slumped on the ground like that has not improved the way the corpse.
The stench is getting bad. I'm sorry to interrupt the jubilations here. I need a little breather before we do the autopsy. In the meantime, we should locate the representative of the logistics company. My preliminary information suggests the Wild Pines have sent a strike negotiator to wrangle back control from the union. I bet she has a fresh perspective to offer us. Since we've already talked to Everhart in the harbor, that interview is done, for better or for worse. Yes, and those were the interviewees.
Sweet. We did it. Now you don't have anything to throw rocks at unless you're gonna throw the rocks at the corpse on the ground, and that's boring. That's not a target.
Here we go. First words.
Oh.
Wait.
That's right. First words were uh-oh. That's pretty good.
She can say mama too now.
Aww.
Adorable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Adorable. How fast they grow up. Now, your baby's talking. I want you to start talking. I want to find out who won last week's game.
Oh man. Okay. Well, last week's was creepiest airline
This
employee.
must be it. The Royal Lion.
Super close
Guillaume's
one.
kitten.
So
This
54%
leather upholstery is,
of the
in
vote
fact,
went to Carl.
What?
Who isn't here to even
Carl!
so.
I will
Then
accept
you try to be as
Boo!
silent as you
Boo!
can. It takes a bit finally. The
Boo!
door unlocks with a good job.
You will not.
Let's
I
go
absolutely
now.
will.
There's nothing
He helped
else
push
to do
him
than to
in
leave
also,
and tell.
but-
Only
I'm not even
curiosity
here,
can
so
account for
let me just
stepping
take-
over that threshold.
Good idea.
Maybe
Good
there's
idea.
treasure in there.
I'm not going to
As
do
you
that. I
hold
guess that
the
means the
open
score
door,
is
you
tied.
can feel
1-1 in round number 30. We've been doing 30 rounds of this shit. Unreal. So thanks, Danny. Make sure you follow Danny on Instagram at Danny Desolation. And please take care of that mouthy baby.
Will do.
Excellent. All right, Lucy. I don't know why I feel so rushed today, but we got a lot to get to. We got cop cams coming up. We
This
got a
is the
scum
flag of
parade. But
River
first,
Show,
we have a
the
competition.
suzerainty.
And because you're a guest,
This isn't just
I'm
one
gonna let you
sun,
decide if you like to
but
go
there are
first or
little
second.
suns,
What do you
don't-
think?
It's an
Oh,
optical,
that's a great question.
atmospheric
You know what?
anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
Mm-hmm. The tenant is an old-fashioned guy.
The lieutenant does not bow to the flag. It is not my flag, he thinks. My flag is the signal blue of the zone of control.
Fair.
A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amid a little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make the images betray a lack of interest in human beings. They are merely unflattering caricatures. The owner of these mugs doesn't like people of other ethnicities very much. This person is the lieutenant picks up one of
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
Yes,
All
your
right, cool,
broken mug
Kim.
friend would feel very much at home here. The same.
There's the missing tin soldier. Whoever lives here might have used, and now they've drawn the ire of the Union. The plot thickens, as they say.
An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clue. Perhaps you should break into apartments more often.
Oh yeah.
Who knows? I'm not expecting too much from this clothes in the trash lead either way. It might turn out to be some random local matter, but still.
Ooh, I'll take your shirt. Cool. Yeah, I'm sure you want to get out of here because you're lame. You're a big lamer. Okay, the problems with talking to her is I don't have my ID badge yet, and I can't get my ID badge until Wednesday. Quite a problem. I guess I can at least talk to her about some stuff.
I think I'm gonna let you go first.
God damn it.
I
Right.
know. You're welcome.
That's fine. That's just fine by me. Usually the winner does go first, but I did lose last week. So I'm gonna introduce you to my creep today, and I'm gonna tell you, out of the gate, my creep did not inspire a movie. He inspired 4 movies, folks. He may be actually responsible for
Good.
the true crime genre.
What can I
in
help you
film.
with?
My creep terrorized turn-of-the-century Germany for almost 20 years,
That's
and
the
has one
man
of the
who was
best
killed.
nicknames in true crime. My creep
I'm
today,
afraid
ladies
this
and
is a
gentlemen,
discussion for
it
once
is
we've
Peter
cleared the lynching
Curtin,
question.
the vampire of Dusseldorf. That's
oh
right.
boy.
Yeah, he's a very, very
Better not
handsome
tie
guy
the fourth
who
day
had
to the
a
backstay
really,
on
really
this.
rough childhood.
I hope there is
say.
something else
You
I can
see,
help you with.
He was the oldest of
She
13
wants
kids, and his
to answer
dad
the
was an
question.
alcoholic sadist
Protocol
who
keeps her
took
from
turns
it.
raping the kids and their mother. They lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, 15
Why,
people.
yes I am.
In basically the slums. And his dad would drink,
boat?
rape people,
No,
and
is
that was
called-
his
The
childhood.
word
It's not
it.
great. So as you can
A
imagine, he grew
breeze
up kind of
ripples
angry.
through the cells
A little.
and
A
tugs
little.
at your hair.
I'll tell you about one of the
Below
first crimes he committed.
Okay.
This is a big one.
How about Cordeleche 9?
He,
Because
when he
it was
9,
manufactured in
him and 2
Revachol
of his
East
school
by a
friends got on a
company,
little
X
rowboat, went out to the middle
something.
of this lake that was near
The
their
X
town.
what?
And for some reason, Peter just didn't like one of them, so he
Very
pushes him off the
absurd.
boat.
Thank
that
you
kid
for the
couldn't swim, so he
suggestion.
starts.
I will stick with
He's
the
treading
factory
water.
name for now,
Kid's
but
treading water,
thank you.
dying. The other kid jumps in to
Bitch.
save him, and when he grabs the other
Okay,
boy and
because
comes back
it was
towards the boat
why
to try to get help to get
Dolores?
in, Peter grabs them both by the
Well,
head
it means
and
nothing
holds
to
them
me.
underwater
I think
till
I'll
the
stick with the
bubbles stop.
factory name. But thank you for the suggestion.
And then what happened?
Oh, he told everybody they fell off the boat and drowned.
Oh, of
And
course.
nothing happened to him. He went on with his fucking life. He drowned 2 of his schoolmates at
Wait,
fucking 9 years
That's
old.
pretty cool.
How old? 9?
It's a pleasure
Oh my
craft.
God.
A 19 pacer.
9 years old,
It
double
also
murder.
happens my sloop.
Talk about a fucking
like
body
it a lot.
count.
I'm
So as you
enjoying
can
this part
imagine
of the
now,
interview.
he doesn't have a lot of
I
friends
really
anymore.
do, the lieutenant
Drowning
thinks.
them all.
Is
He
she
meets
thrown
a
off
new
yet?
friend inside of the
He's
apartment
looking at
building
the
that they
woman,
lived with his family.
assessing her.
It was the local dog catcher. And this
Of course
guy
there are.
and Peter
We're on an
formed what I would
archipelago.
call an
How else are
unhealthy
you supposed to get
relationship.
around?
And the
I
only reason I
mean,
would
we
say that
are
is because
on
when
Le
Peter was about
Caillou,
12 years
are we
old, this
not?
guy introduced him to a real fun new pastime.
We are.
Bestiality.
And the city of
You see,
Revachol is
though
on the
the
island
dog
of Le
catcher
Caillou.
used to catch the dogs and fuck them, and then torture the dogs and laugh his ass off. And Peter became his little protege and helper.
There wasn't enough humans
Is it?
in the 1-bedroom apartment. Had to turn to animals.
Can I get a map of the world?
Dad's staking his claim on all your sisters.
Touche. Touche.
I don't know what to say, but they're just fucking dogs together. Him and the local dog catcher. His dad's the local town drunk. His best friend's a dog rapist. So you can imagine puberty was weird
Yeah.
for this guy.
I would think so.
Yeah, puberty was a little weird. As
I haven't
he
seen anyone
matured
else drive a
sexually, his
souped-up
tastes matured a
Capri
little bit.
Kenema motor carriage either.
He moved on
Actually,
from dogs.
that motor carriage
found
has
out he
been
was
specially
really
issued
not
to
sheep
serve
and
as a
goats.
patrol and
I was
pressure
so close.
vehicle.
And goats.
It's for
and
crossing long
according
distances
to,
in a
a
greater
couple articles,
Ravachol
they refer
industrial
to other
hub.
farmyard
Neither is
animals,
this.
so use
A
your
toy, I
imagination.
mean. It's a machine
But he
for
eventually
crossing
grew
long
out of that because he
distances in
couldn't
the
get
Bay
off
of
anymore.
Revachol, between the city
Like he
and the
fucked
island.
he fucked so many animals he just couldn't fucking shoot, which is a fucking problem. He desensitized himself and fucked up for a teenager.
Yeah.
So he had to figure out what he can do, you know, and that's like the fear for these people who get oversexed is eventually like boobs don't turn them on, butts don't turn them on. It turns into something that's completely not sexual. This guy, what he would do is he would start fucking the animals, right? You know,
Gross.
same old. But then he added in a new kink, which was he would start stabbing them while he was fucking them. And that worked.
You got to make another hole.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Gotta make another
gross.
hole. Might be the name of this episode's. Dirty Deeds Done with Sheeps. I like that one, Dr. Scotty Jones. Solid. So here's the problem. He was also just a degenerate criminal as a kid. He's stealing, he's breaking into houses. He's also a firebug. He's burning stuff down. So eventually he gets arrested and he gets sent to prison. And when he's in prison, he's living in deplorable conditions and he's constantly getting into fights and they would throw him into solitary confinement. Weird fact about solitary confinement in this dude, he loved it. He would go in there by himself, and he would just imagine the most sadistic, fucked up sex acts he could come up with, and he's just shooting loads all over the wall of the jail. He would get in more trouble just to go back to solitary.
I mean, that sounds like a very interesting wallpaper.
It's one way to decorate
Several
yourself.
maps have the
A
maps
lot of guys
look
just
old
put
and
pin-up
faded.
models
Your
on the
eye
wall. He
catches a
sticks
map
them to the
of the
wall.
cylinder.
Slaps
And
them
it's
right
not
on there.
really a map.
So
Still,
he gets out of
it's
jail in
deep.
1904, and he's forced to join the German army.
The other two
Now,
are not for they're
he's
quite
in the German
valuable,
army,
though
but
they
his
might
service
not
was
look
short-lived because what he
The
did
map
was
of
he
Martinez
deserted,
is 90
and then
cents,
because he hated the army so much, he started setting fires to shit
Are you
around their
interested or
camps,
not?
just so he could watch them come out and try to put them out. He was a fucked up dude. He eventually was arrested for arson and desertion and sentenced to his third imprisonment. He doesn't get out till 1913, and that's when shit gets real, folks. What we talked
Why does it
about
get real
so
then?
far, nothing. He gets out of jail. The first thing he decides to do is become a sadistic pervert. He sees a 9-year-old girl and he finds her
That's
quite
not good.
attractive, and her family was staying across from his local tavern. So he waited till the middle of the night and he broke in and starts strangling this little girl, and then he slices her throat. Now, he didn't get to rape her because when he wanted to slice his throat and then rape her, but when he slit her throat, he fucking blew a load in his pants.
What a poor guy.
This
The
motherfucker
already
was like,
familiar cold
this
touch
is
of plastic.
amazing. And because he's such a sick fuck, he went and hung out at that bar all day the next day to listen to people talk about what happened to the 9-year-old girl across the street. Fucking
The
unreal.
already familiar
Now,
cold touch of plastic.
he then does this again. This time it's a 17-year-old girl, similar fashion, but he gets arrested about a month later, not for either of the murders, but because he got caught breaking into somebody's house again. So he goes to
What a
jail.
loser.
Now
Why
he's
you
in
get
jail
caught?
till 1921. And he decides, you know what, I'm going to try to live a normal life. And he meets a former prostitute who also went to jail for murdering her ex-husband. And she opened up a candy shop and he married her. And her name was Auguste. Now, he starts working a normal job.
Good name.
He's working the same job his dad did as a molder. He's doing this for 4 years, keeping it relatively clean. But these fucking weirdos, they can't do that, Kaylee. They can't fucking do it, Lucy. So, after this time, he's out, everything's
Doxed.
good. He just starts seeing local women in the neighborhood, and he's like, you know what? I'm trying to live a normal life. I'm not going to slit any of these women's throats. I'm just going to rape them.
Oh, it sounds like a beautiful romance story in that
LeBlanc,
case. They got
a
the candy
pleasure as
shop,
always.
everything's going
You
swell.
don't have to sit And he's down just, this like, time, skipping down the
since
street
you've
going,
already
"It's rape
sat on that
time,"
chair.
and he just starts
I'm very
straight up
glad to
regular
hear
raping
that,
women,
Harry.
which, you know.
One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you? You're right, Harry. You only had to unlock the door, which you did. So we're all good here. Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good. By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys.
The bad guys.
Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
Tell me more.
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He
That's not
performs a
polite.
motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant. No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical, and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality, are very real.
I really like Everett. He's a good character.
I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there.
The voice
I have
actor's
luxury of
fantastic.
Staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container. Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container.
Okay.
The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill. There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood. Making sure everything runs smoothly.
I see
They're
where
like
this is
you
going.
guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have...
So these...
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, he probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Shit, I seen Girl Next Door. That is fucking twisted. Is that a movie?
Worried we might arrest them for this.
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martin A's boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
If he's just boasting, then it sure doesn't feel like that to you. He's not worried.
Yeah, because I'm in dialogue. It's hard for people to listen to 2 things at once, so I try to be conscious.
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
He's not scared of them. If anything, he likes them being here. Strange.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members. Always old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best
He's just completely
interests of
ignoring
Martinez
Kim.
and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer. You know what, Harry? I got a feeling they're gonna show up in full force tomorrow.
The lieutenant marks something in his notebook.
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend.
When you meet this Titus,
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Thanks.
The lieutenant watches you pocket the bag.
Good boy. A real team player. Now, do you have any more questions? Was it a good tour? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun.
Of
But
course, of
it's like
course.
I can't completely trust you. Yet. Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you.
He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
I'm a money engineer.
Perfect, Harry. That's perfect. My version of the left is not against the companies. It's with the companies. Honestly, what I have...
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
Sure.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here, you need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the water lock. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I know we can do business together. See you soon, Debardeur.
Bleh, you loser.
Is an improvement from stabbing them to get off.
Yeah, I would say so.
But this time he gets caught again and sent back to jail. 1921 until he's released. So, he's such a problem, this guy. He loses no time. 1929 this time he's released, I'm sorry. And he starts just going on a kill spree. He's
no
raping,
trouble at all, mister.
slicing throats,
No trouble at all.
and he came up with a
yes,
weapon that
yes.
he really likes.
Oh, yes.
And
It's
this is where
very,
shit gets
very-
really fucking gross. Sorry, everybody.
Never heard of a bush.
What he gets
Yes,
into
yes. I'm
is
taking it. Oh,
he
sure,
gets into
mister.
stabbing people with
Sure.
scissors.
You do.
Right?
He didn't actually
So
understand.
the reason he liked to stab people with scissors is because it would make like a spurt of blood. So he would
Mm,
grab
cool.
a woman, drag her into the woods, stab her in the neck with a pair of scissors, and then what he would do is start drinking their blood from the wound. Right? And
That's a little,
he did this until he just, as his own words, until I would throw up.
I mean, he was used to splurting on the walls of his jail cells. Now he's got to have the splurting from the neck. It sounds like a normal transgression to me.
He loves it. So what he
Truly.
does is he'll bury the bodies. Sometimes he just sets the bodies on fire. Now, then
You're back
he's just
before
like,
the
you know what?
cargo
I don't need to
container.
deal with all these
It's
bodies
drawer.
all the time. You know what I'm going to start doing? He just starts going to really crowded streets, stabbing people. Just coming up behind him and fucking stabbing people in the back and walking away like nothing happened.
Ballsy.
Fucking A ballsy.
It's pretty rude.
And people are terrified. They're finding these bodies drained of blood with neck fucking punctures. All the papers are going, there's a vampire on the loose. And people are freaking the fuck out. He's just having the time of his goddamn life, popping fucking candies from his wife's shop and going out and stabbing people all fucking day. So he would even show up at the after somebody was stabbed and act like a concerned citizen just to
Warn
talk to the
features
cops all
that
sheepish.
your finger
Oh
moves,
no, what's
finally.
happened here?
For a more detailed view of the
Oh
map,
no,
go to-
this is crazy. So he also at one point he murdered this
You're
one
back
woman and he was
before
like,
the
you know what I
cargo
have to do is
container.
just tie her up to
Why
this
are
tree
you
like real
even trouble?
public like so everybody can see it and I'll set it on fire.
Because it's awesome.
That'd be fun. And then
You're
he decided
back
not to
before
do
the
it.
cargo
Instead,
container.
he
Why are
ended
you?
up just burying her and then sending the cops a map to her body, like some BTK shit.
You're back before the
Now,
cargo container. Why
His last
are you?
victim was a 5-year-old girl who he stabbed more than 30 times before throwing her body
You're
under a
back
bunch of
before the
garbage in
cargo
an alley.
container.
Then on May 14th, 1930, he kind of fell for
You're
this
back
broad.
before the
He saw her and he's like,
Why-
oh, I like her. I don't want to murder her. I think I just want to have an affair. I'm not even going to rape this one. And he tries to, like, he goes up to her and starts hitting on her. He's like, hey, baby, let me help you find a place. You're new to town? Let me show you what's going on. And he starts taking her around, and he propositions her, and she says, no fucking way. That's when he drags her into the woods and starts to rape her, but he goes, fuck, I don't want to rape this one. He goes, just get out of here. Just
You're
fucking
back
get out of
before
here.
the cargo container.
And
Oh, that didn't even help.
she
Why
doesn't
are
go to
you?
the police, which is astounding.
Yeah, what did she do?
She wrote
You're
a
back
letter to
before
a
the
friend
cargo
explaining
container.
what happened
Why
and how
are
it
you-
freaked her
because
out.
what?
But
Wasn't
she
an option.
mailed it to the wrong address.
Oh no.
So
No,
somebody
'cause I wanna
opens up this
convince
letter
the
and
door
says,
to
"What
open."
the
You're
fuck?"
back
and gives
before
it to
the
the
cargo
cops.
container. What?
They track her down and get a description of Peter Curtin. So they start canvassing, looking for him, and people
You're
are saying,
back
"Oh, it might be
before the
that
cargo
house." So they
container.
go and
What?
interview his wife. And they go, "Hey, is your husband acting weird?" She's like,
You're
"No,
back
he has the
before the
candy, he
cargo-
disappears.
What?
Sure, he comes home with bloodstains, but you know, he's a hard worker. Bloodstains that come all over his
You're
pants.
back before the car.
He's
What?
just a hard worker." He comes home that night. She tells him what
You're
happened. He
back
goes,
before
"All
the
right,
cargo
listen, here's the deal,
container.
babe.
What?
Yeah,
You'll
I'm
never
the
defeat
vampire.
me,
I've
door.
been, murdering
You're
and raping
back
since I
before
was
the
a
cargo.
child.
What?
I really like your candy, so you're cool. You're not
You're
you're not
back
trouble.
before the cargo
But here's the deal:
What?
they're on to me. They're gonna catch me. So here's what we're gonna do. I want you to turn
You're
me in
back
tomorrow and get the
before the
reward
cargo-
money and
What?
live like a queen the rest of your life. I don't give a fuck anymore.
I'm getting so close.
That's what they do. He
You're
goes
back
quietly,
before the cargo
and he
container.
was sentenced to death pretty quickly. But before he was sentenced to death,
Only way to
he
open it
confessed
is double
79
sixes.
murders
Its draw has not
and
lessened
crimes,
since you were last here.
with
What?
astonishing detail, according to psychologists at the time.
It was a lot easier with
They
my first
said
playthrough
that,
because that was all like mind
he
based.
had a nearly photogenic graphic
Why
memory,
are-
and his recollection of each offense obviously provided him with a lot of pleasure because he
You're
would
back
get
before the cargo-
noticeably
What?
aroused and would ejaculate in his pants, telling the cops about the shit that he did.
Yeah, he
What
wanted
a
to
loser.
watch. He
You're
wanted
back
everybody
before
to
the
know what he
cargo
was
container.
doing.
What are
man.
you?
One of the psychiatrists
came
wrote a
in
book
his
about him entitled
pants?
Sadist. Now, his last
back
words, they
before the cargo
killed this
container.
motherfucker
What?
with a guillotine. His last words were, he asked somebody, "Will I
You're
be
back
able to
before
hear
the
them chop
cargo
off my
container. What?
head? Because, oh, I would love to hear the sounds of my own blood
You're
squirting
back
out of
before
my
the
neck."
cargo container. What?
Fucking disgusting.
I mean,
Fun fact,
yeah, it would be kind of interesting, I
um,
guess.
Yeah.
You're back
They
before
All right,
the
I'm gonna try this a couple more times and then I'll
Got it.
come back to this later.
That's his actual fucking skull and head.
You're back
It's
before the
preserved
cargo
inside of
container.
a
Why are you
fucking
even
Ripley's
trying to
Believe It or Not.
You know, it's a shame that we can't ask him if he did get that dying wish of hearing
You're
his blood
back before
squirting
the
out.
cargo. What?
Yeah, the last thing he did is his lower half just came everywhere. Like it just
You're back
flipped over
before
on its
the
back
cargo.
and just started
What?
shooting like a fire hose all over.
Gross.
Now, did he inspire movies? I told you he
You're
inspired
back
4
before the
movies.
cargo.
Here's what they
What?
were. One of the first true crime-based movies of all time. Amazing
You're
film
back
if you've never
before the
seen it.
cargo.
It's
What?
from 1931. Fresh off
You're
of
back
this
before
whole
the
thing
cargo
now,
container.
researched
Why?
by Fritz Lang. It's called M, and it starred Peter Lorre as a character named
You're
Hans
back
Becker,
before the
who was
cargo.
based
What?
off of Peter Curtin. And there was an American remake of M. That was the second
All right,
movie.
2 more tries.
And then in
Before the cargo.
1965, there was a French movie called Thriller Les Vampires de
You're
Dusseldorf,
back before the cargo.
all about
What?
Peter Curtin.
All right,
and then
cool,
the
and we're done.
2009 film Normal is based on the crimes of Peter Curtin, and it's a film adaptation of the playwright Anthony Nielsen's play Normal, the Dusseldorf Ripper. So,
The who?
books, plays, movies. This motherfucker did it all. He's the goddamn king of all media. Peter Curtin, folks.
Success.
What? Gross.
That's a creep.
Yeah.
A creep.
Yeah, I mean, he got off on hearing the blood of little girls and would just come everywhere.
Well, you know, everybody has their kinks. Don't kink shame
To
Vinny.
be fair, if it's the blood, if he had just timed things right.
It's not quite as gushy. I know. I thought you needed that.
This is a classy show.
It's not.
Don't turn this into like
It's
some
not.
female comic stand-up act. Period.
I have a
vaginas,
period.
Yeah,
Ha, ha,
don't
ha.
do it.
Okay, I gotta
right
kill
now.
15 minutes before we
Spite
can go to
you.
sleep.
Just to spite you for bringing such a great creep.
All right, do it.
All right, are we ready to get into my creep?
Certainly.
All right, let's
do it.
go for it. So we are going back in time, not quite as far back in time as Vinny just took us. We are going to 1965
You see,
to look at the
accept
most
the name
sadistic, diabolical
from
case
out-
of
You
torture
feel a
and
twitch in
murder
your index
to ever
fingers.
occur in Indiana and probably other places as well.
In Indiana.
I know, I know. So if you'll throw up my image number 1, this is a crime that inspired 2 movies. I
He
know
does
you
not
had
need your
4
money.
under your bag. Let's not judge me based on this alone. This crime inspired the movie An American Crime and also The Girl Next Door. Both of these movies came out in 2007, and it is not The Girl Next Door that was inspired
No
by
need to
All
trust-
Boys Wet Dreams. Not that one that you're probably thinking of. Like
I'll
the
get him to
rom-com.
give me money too.
This one is all about Gertrude Banishevsky and the murder of Sylvia Likens.
Interesting. Now I see an American crime stars Catherine
glance
Keener.
around.
She's great.
Yes.
And Ellen Page.
Yes.
With dead naming now.
Yes, we are. We are.
Maybe you're the
That's
It is, yes.
welcome to
Anyone can-
2007.
That's right.
amazing. And I would highly recommend both of those movies. Jack Ketchum's The Girl Next Door is particularly vile.
Well,
If
it's
you
gotta
wanted to
better
be
than
cynical
Juno.
about
Yeah,
it,
it's
you could
that's
say
very
we're here to
accurate.
My man,
Very
officer.
accurate. Come on,
Gossamer
Diablo
is a
Cody my
fine
ass.
filmy substance consisting
Anyways,
of cobwebs
so
spun by small
the
spiders.
true evil
seen
of Gertrude
especially
was
in
that she was convincing tons of neighborhood kids to abuse, neglect, and starve and taunt young Sylvia Likens.
Well, see, the world is rough, and you have to teach kids to toughen up.
You know, she sure did do that. She sure did do that. So
Ah.
the abuse was described as stomach wrenching and equivalent to the crimes that Holocaust victims suffered. But these were crimes that were committed by 14-year-olds under Gertrude's supervision. Sylvia died with over 150 wounds, including burns, scalds, and eroded skin.
A bunch of 14-year-olds just holding her down and
This
tattooing
man
her wrist.
probably comes from
Effectively,
Seaguy,
yes.
sometimes known as
Yeah,
the
it's gonna get worse
apricot.
though. All right, if you'll pull up my image number 2, we're gonna just take a peek at some of the characters that we have in this here tale. Sylvia Likens is over on the right-hand side there. She was born in 1949 and she died at the age of
Yes,
16
you.
years old.
Word on the
That's a
street
weird
is
cut there.
you're ready to start building communism again. You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pockets.
Forgot about this line.
Literally murder all human beings, regardless of their political beliefs. That
I do say the last one. I do say that last one. Just kill everybody. It's fine. So that does sound like me.
Very funky. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or failure? It's about failure. Of course you do. You are failure. You are communism. Absolutely vanquished. Beaten. You alone. Against every living thing. Against
I don't think so. That's
every
too much work.
human You against the atom, the charm and the spin. Where the whole world failed. Now get to work, comrade. Oh yeah, get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready. Too late to back out now.
Okay, it's 9 o'clock. Dang, it's popping in here.
Can I help you?
No.
Yes?
This is the door to the room you redecorate.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Sure.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically.
Well,
I
yeah.
have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
You're cold, detective. Again, I only have exactly one every night. You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would, yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. We are permitted to use whatever force we deem necessary, even lethal. Yes. The last time was 4 years ago.
He says it matter of. He has internalized it well. There is a slight physical revulsion.
That's an improbability. Perhaps even impossibility. Precinct 41 is known for a higher than average rate of police violence. The coalition government, the RCM, was formed by the coalition, or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the Moralinton leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it. The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know
Sure.
who they are.
The big
They have been
government.
running this place after the revolution failed. Okay. There are a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just... The Moralintern are a fact. I try not to have...
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in it.
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, but the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. They're more...
Something ominous. Something even a little feminine. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
Do you? My kind of police officer.
The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses.
Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not... Our inspection could have been more thorough, as it always can, but we have some leads we can follow up on. Then you shot the body down, which was quite the shot. I admit I wasn't sure whether I should give you the gun, but I'm glad I did. We still have to perform the autopsy, though. But we did do a thorough search of the crime scene. That's great. Now,
You're great.
as for interviews, my list of people to talk to here in Martinez, I mean. Very important indeed. Well, we conduct... He wasn't particularly forthcoming with useful information, however. We talked to Joyce Messier, but didn't get any information from her. I have a feeling Joyce knows how... Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
I have a really
Yeah,
good
it's a Jamrock
feeling
shuffle.
Why you're running so fast, son? Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
I'm not wearing those.
Thank you for the compliment. We could manage it even in wooden clogs. There are uncanny running reservoirs in this body. God knows why. The dying lights of the city.
They really don't like us here. The union, the teenagers too. It's different inland. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our two precincts. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems work. Me too. But I wouldn't count on any...
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him...
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Wait, I want my cigarette.
There it is. A brave little army. You picked the best one. Get a load of this rock and roll cop here. The lighter's dark green disposable plastic. Thick, warm smoke gets sucked down into your lungs. Immediately, you feel a warm nostalgia fill your head, body, and soul.
In the bottom right corner of the screen.
Yes?
Alright, well, good night, Kim. And I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna eat my lunch and stuff and get a couple things done before I head off to work. So I want to thank you all for joining me this morning. Go finish the creep off. And tonight I'm gonna hop on after Spurg Snake does his gaming stream, and we're gonna be playing more Cube 2 while we listen to the loudest podcast. So thanks for joining, and until then, we'll see you next time.
She's got a part down the middle and bangs.
Yeah. She was a lovely, lovely young girl. She liked the Beatles. She was really into the Beatles. She had a lot of prospects coming forward in her life in the, mid 60s.
You know what? That doesn't impress me that she liked the Beatles
In the
mid
60s?
60s.
Yeah, I know,
She might
right?
as well have been an NSYNC fan in 2003. Who gives a shit?
Listen. Let's not judge her so quickly. Let's see what she goes through.
I'm with Gertrude. Fuck this kid. Going with the masses, motherfucker.
So we also have over here on the left-hand side, we have a picture of Gertrude. So Gertrude, of course, was the ringleader in this crime. She's the matriarch of this clan. We can also see in the middle here 2 of her children, Paula Banaszewski, who was 17, John Banaszewski Jr., who was 13 at the time of the crime, and